Hello and welcome everyone, I'm TheSparrowsJourney and I've been absent a little lately and I want to apologize because of that, but the guilt, the guy that is all to blame for that is this one in WildStar. Yes, we are in WildStar and I'm playing a new class, the Engineer, which I've completely fell in love with. Now this is my Engineer, which is the guy that has been keeping me busy a lot. I am level 22 at the moment, and I intend to get at least to the 25th until the end of the open beta, which should end in the next 2 days. Now, I've said I would play Spell Slinger as my main, but the fact is that I've tried the Engineer and I am in love with it. I love the fact that you can be a tank, a ranged tank, which is something that I really loved in Star Wars The Old Republic with the Bounty Hunter. I love that. And I completely fell in love with the Engineer because of that. I already did a dungeon, an instance, an adventure, and I tanked that even though I didn't have tank spec. I am using the assault spec, or at least the one I think it's the best one. If you don't use bots, because I don't want to use bots as an Engineer, and that's something that is keeping me a little bit skeptical. I don't want to ruin my character's potential by not using something that I don't like, which is in this case pets. I don't really like to play with pets in MMOs. I never like to play a hunter. I never liked to play a ranger in Guild Wars 2. I liked it, but I understand that I could not be ever the best. Obviously I cannot because I'm a terrible player, but I'm cutting in almost half my potential if I don't use pets in those games. And I believe that doesn't happen in WildStar. I am in hopes that if I don't use my robots, I'm not too penalized by not doing so. And I've not been using it for my whole leveling, and I actually never really missed them. I was even successful at beating some high-level stuff all alone, stuff that you should do in group with 2 guys or 3 guys even. And I've been happy with that. I've been trying the tank spec, which should be, I'm going to show you. This video will suddenly turn out as an Engineer video, even if I don't want to, but here's basically my solo spec, my DPS spec, if you want to call it that. I love this spell, the target acquisition, this ability. It's not a really spell. I'm not a spell slinger or whatever anymore. I'm an Engineer, should call it the mechanical stuff. But this basically starts the fight, which marks my first target and does a lot of damage. I most of the times initiate with this. Then I use the energy order to get some volatility, volatility, or whatever you called it. It's mainly the Engineer's power to get more higher damage stuff. It's this part over here that you fill with your normal attack, which is Pulse Blast in this case. I also use energy order, and I'm using Chalk Pulse from... It's not an assault ability, it's a support ability, but I really love it to snare my enemies. And it also does a good amount of volatility to use. And then, here is my amps, my talent tree, if you call it that, most general name, which has all in assault for now, and it has a little bit in support. I'm going hybrid assault support. I'm not sure of this, but I believe you can only choose 1 point in these 2 steps. I'm still not sure of this. I'm still learning the mechanics here. But in my tanking spec, I'm basically using all support. I'm not using anything from the assault. Now, this probably comes without a surprise to most of you, but to me it was somewhat a surprise. It's really a pain to play alone with a tank spec. I've quickly learned that you really want to use the tank spec only in dungeons where you need to be a tank and you need to have higher levels of threat, because all of these, or almost all of them, generates threat. This one does, I'm using this as a normal attack. I do believe they want you to use this disruptive module as a basic attack, maybe? I'm not sure, but I'm using this one, Flak Cannon, which generates threat and gives you volatility. Again, the thing that you need to build damage and threat in this case. Then there's the Taunt, which is the upper wave. Could use Choke Pulse, but I'm not. And this is basically maintaining a higher level of threat and volatility. Which I'm struggling with the tanking spec is that the only way I have to spend my volatility is this, Unsteady Miasma, and I don't think it's that good. It gives me a higher chance of deflecting attacks, which is awesome, but other than this, I don't have anything else to spend my volatility with. So I'm really in hopes that maybe this one, Thresher, will be very good to spend my volatility. I mean, this is what is awesome about WildStar. There's a huge potential to very different specs. Like, you can choose from this utility tab as well, which I, honestly, had never explored too much. I am learning that there's some useful stuff here. Remove all CC effects, it should be good for PvP. And there you go, here are the bots, which I'm not using, Blizzard bot and the utility bot. Now, if for instance, for raiding, the bot is really useful, I know for a fact that it can taunt, so if it means that I get a second taunt, an emergency taunt, I will obviously use the bot. But in my normal progress, my normal leveling, I don't really want to use a pet because I don't like to. So there you go, here are my news, what I've been playing, and what I'm planning to play as a main. The Engineer, that's decided, I nailed it down. I've been struggling so much to pick up a main and stick with it once the game launches, but that's what open betas are for. So I'm playing the Engineer. I am Soldier right now, the Soldier path, and to be quite honest, I'm not amazed by it. The abilities are not that great as well. Bailout, this is a funny one. When you're basically about to die, you can cast this and everyone in your group will be teleported to the last place where they were locked to in a town. The HP back into the fray is pretty useful, but it has a long cooldown, which is a bummer. And the combat supply drop, it's meh for me. It's like those weapon lockers you find throughout the map and you open them and nobody uses them because they're not that useful. And another thing about the Soldier path is that you really must like to kill stuff because that's all you're gonna do. Basically, assassinate, holding missions, and those are boring as crap. Those get boring really quickly. Because there's at least 4 different types of holding missions, where you activate one beacon and you have to defend that place. They're quite hard along the way, further down the leveling, but they get boring, because all you do in leveling, in questing, involves a lot of killing. So you really must love killing to have more killing with a Soldier. So what I'm aiming at is either for the Explorer or for the Settler, but I'm most probably gonna go Settler because it's useful as crap. People love it as well, because who doesn't like buffs, right? Buffs that can be used by anyone in a town. And the Explorer is kind of what I'm aiming for my ult, which should be the Spell Sling. So yeah, WildStar will be kind of a range adventure for me. I'm not picking any melee characters. I am now in White Veil, which I haven't explored much, I just got here. This should be the region where you want to start exploring at level 20, 22, 21, something along those lines. So that's my report on WildStar, that's what I'm playing. This guy is awesome. Just wanted to show you that. I also love the Granak. These guys are amazing. But that's it. I'll see you next time with more WildStar and less rambling. Bye-bye.